This watch is an Apple killer. Finally, Garmin's brought itself into this decade. I've been using the Garmin Forerunner 965 for about 3 months now, and I want to tell you the top 5 things that I've really liked about this watch, and a few of the cons that I didn't. The first one's obvious. It's the AMOLED touchscreen display. Now this is a requirement in watches this day and age. Finally, Garmin's brought it to the Forerunner package. And this thing looks clean. There's something about the standout colors that makes me love this watch. Compared to the previous generations of the Forerunners, which to me always felt a bit dated, this thing has the horsepower of a Garmin, but the bright colors of the smartwatch competitors. Number 2 is the activities. The 900 series of the Forerunner has always been the triathlon line. This is built for multi-sport athletes. But for me, someone who likes to dabble in everything, this is great. Whether it's a tempo run, a hike with my wife, a trail run with my dog, stand-up paddleboard in the lake by my house, weight training in the garage, or a Sunday 30K bike with my buddies. Whatever your thing is, I guarantee this watch has the activity for it. Right here is the full list of the activities. You can pause the video to check it out in its entirety. Thirdly is battery life. And for reference, before this I had the Apple Watch and then I had the Forerunner 245. And the AMOLED display on the Apple Watch would crush the battery. It could never make it through the long runs of my first marathon training. So when I found out the Forerunner 265 and 965 were coming out with the AMOLED touchscreen display, I thought, I don't think it's going to be able to live up to the test. Like, if Apple can't make their watches last longer than 16 hours, how the heck could Garmin? I couldn't have been more wrong. This thing is a battery camel. I always go at least 5 days without having to charge it. And trust me, because I'm one of those weirdos who gets like crippling anxiety when their phone goes under 50% battery, I'm always keeping an eye on it. 18 years without having a phone die. Now the next one makes the list because beforehand all I've read was how bad it was. And that's gesture mode. See, with the AMOLED display, like Apple Watches, you can always have an always on display, or if you want to save some battery, you'll have the gesture based, where it turns on when you flick your wrist. Now when the watch is in activity mode, it never goes totally off, but it does dim. But I've been training with this thing all summer. I've done 2 half marathons and a triathlon, and I've never been like jiggling my wrist to try to get it to wake up. It's been very good, very responsive, very happy. And before we go any further, I want to go over a few of the negatives, because I don't want to confuse excellence with perfection. First is the cost. This sucker costed $899 Canadian. Now I had to sell a lot of my stuff on Facebook Flea Market before giving myself permission to make this purchase. You see, I'm a 35-year-old sports enthusiast. I couldn't give myself the emotional go-ahead to buy myself the Ferrari of the Forerunner line. The next one is the screen, or should I say the curvature of the screen. You see, unlike all of the other Forerunners before it, this one has a curve to it, which makes it incredibly difficult to put on a screen protector. So much so that after 2 or 3 bubbled on me, I just threw them in the garbage. Now this thing does come equipped with Gorilla Glass, making it very hard to scratch, but I'm already seeing a couple imperfections, something worth noting. The final negative here was the Garmin Pay. See, the bank I use in Canada, a very large bank, doesn't accept Garmin Pay, or vice versa. I don't know whose fault it is, but it makes it very inconvenient. This was a feature I love to use on the Apple Watch, and I would love to see it come to fruition here soon. And for the final positive I had on this was sleep tracking. Now I've always tracked my sleep on all my devices. I find it so informative and so interesting. But this one has gone to another level. My Garmin 245 would know if I woke up in the middle of the night, but oftentimes it would just say for 2 minutes, even though it was much longer if I was tossing and turning. And now this device is so much better at recognizing it. It's really unbelievable. Rolled in with the sleep tracking is when you wake up in the morning, you get the morning report. I find this so convenient, and I don't know why. It's a fun way to start your day. It kind of gives you all the data from the night before, how you slept, heart rate variability, what your planned workout is for today. So that little tidbit to wake up to, love it. Great job, Garmin. Now I also have a bonus one here for you because this one was such a pleasant surprise to me. You see, I love to golf, and I was so excited to find out that there's a golf feature in it. It's super accurate, super colorful, and built into one all-around activity package. I don't need to go and buy a separate golf GPS anymore. Super excited, love it. So to wrap it all up, overall, I love this watch. For example, I did my first triathlon this summer. I was standing on the beach and I was looking around, and I kind of thought to myself, when I see an Apple Watch on someone's wrist, I think that person loves data. But when I see a Garmin watch on someone's wrist, I think that person trains. So if you can afford this watch, I highly recommend it. It is a steep payment, but overall, I use this more than I use anything. So I feel like if it's not worth it for you and you don't need the maps feature, you might look at the 265 model. But if you want a smartwatch feel in a Forerunner package, so happy with this purchase. I appreciate your time. If you like this video, give it a like. It helps get it out there to other people. Take care.